Christian canon, the Word is the basis of reality, right? It's the force that Christ tells his aim with all your heart at the highest good you can imagine. Now you'll get better at that as your vision, but that's the orientation. Do what, so you orient yourself to have the same intrinsic value that you, that's off with that with the intrinsic value. It's aligned with what matures you and makes you more responsive and sets the world in order. The instinct of meaning signifies walking through. We have this nihilists and the atheists and the war is
the story. So just about the root of these things, why they resonate with people, and to just say that this is superstitious nonsense that people choose to believe as a foolish.
He's also important that's being selected by individuals, but it's better to be something attracts Moses' attention. So he goes off to investigate. Okay, so, and then he sees that it's a burning bush. And so what's a burning bush? Well, it's the tree of life, and life is often represented. And he takes off his shoe, investigating, and then the voice of itself to him is the ground of.
Dennis explains it even better, because he explains it with the actual mechanisms that your brain, that the should fire up.
Psychedelic chemicals heighten the manifestation of the underlying mystery. We do that neurochemically. And so, now what's the association between that and religious revelation in the Bible? We don't know. We don't know.
Have you read any of Marco Regro's stuff?
No.
John Marco Regro wrote a book called The Sacred Monkey
Oh
and
yes.
the Cross.
Oh yes. Yeah. I read that back. Oh my God. 1974.
So you probably read it before it was brought up by the Catholic. But even qualified to, like, many people have disputed was that they thought when it rained, that rain was the giver of life, and it was literally God's seed. To really understand and to be able to dispute it, you have to have a deep understanding of Aramaic. You have to have a doctrines, like what is the actual translation? What does it mean? You have to understand the ancient Hebrew version of it. How does it differ?
All the ways
But in psychedelic experiences, and that they were hiding a lot of these stories, like they're hiding knowledge underneath these stories to try to, in parables and other different ways, to try to obscure it from the Romans and obscure it from the people that conquered them, so they wouldn't know they wouldn't know the secrets of this thing, this ritual, which they've experienced.
So why is it that psychedelic use is crazy more than your interests in pursuing
Drugs, Xanax. There's a million different people. I think we're probably why society advanced, and I think the iconography of the pineal gland seems to be a big part of multiple cultures, not just Egyptian, but even Catholicism. Really God. So he takes us through, showing us all this artwork, it's incredible, explaining why they have little. They got a representation of it, right? That it seems like you go back to the John Marco Allegro stuff, you go back to the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are the oldest version of the Bible. The only version, I believe the only version they have in Aramaic of all those stories. And if he's right, if John Marco Allegro is right, it all kind of makes sense. That these people were having these experiences much like the Greeks were with the Eleusinian mysteries, much like multiple different cultures in the Amazon, all over the world. You can live your whole life and not know that the most shocking reality, it might be the source of civilization itself. It might be sources, and these ungulated cows that were everywhere that would shit, and then these psilocybin mushrooms would grow in their shit. Observed primates flipping over these cow paddocks, looking for beetles and grubs and things to eat. It's everywhere. Like, you can see it all over Africa. If there's something on that, they're gonna treat it all and be like, whoa, look at it. Look at that. That guy came out like, what the fuck is he doing? It was so different than Eric Clapton watched him for the first time and was like, diagnosed is something that has a certain sort of biological makeup that makes it
Culture. Leary in particular made a huge mistake when he said tune in, turn on, and drop out. He should have said tune in, turn on, and roll up. And what he meant by that was that a direct experience of the transcendent is enough to the box of social constraint, and you have to take the responsibility onto yourself. Now that's a hell of a lot better as a manager, but that is definitely not what Kesey or Leary, for
But what you're
example,
saying
is
is
preaching.
thing that people should aspire to. Should
It's
be
the best one.
the highest goal.
Let me give you another example. But it's characterized in a very particular manner. So God comes to Abraham as the call to adventure. And that's a very useful thing to know. So in the Moses story, God comes to Moses with that, and it's the best possible thing. This is the covenant. So God tells Abraham, if you leave your zone of comfort, if you remove yourself from your father's tent, if you move away from the materialistic satiation, and go out into the terrible world, when you do that voluntarily, you have the adventure of your life. This is what happens. You'll be a blessing to yourself. It's genuine. You'll ride the wave of adventure, and you'll feel that your life is a blessing. Not only will you feel that, it will be a blessing. That's the first thing that will happen. What the clinical psychologists misled people into believing, it's more like the harmony that obtains from the psyche upward through society when everything of your ways when you get ahead of yourself or not? And if the answer to that is no, you say, well, you have no conscience? Nothing calls you on your moral impropriety? You're overreaching? No one wants to be near you if you're one of those people. That's for sure. Is that real? So one of the ways...
From not doing it to doing it every day, all day, 7 days a week, it was just horrible. It was like my mind interfaced with whatever that was, martial arts was, in a big fight. You're pushing the limits of your physical endurance and recovery because you're trying to achieve an adaptation. You can't maintain fight-ready fitness all year round. One thing that people don't understand about like fight-ready, like when a guy like Islam Makhachev, who is the UFC, not be maintained. He wants to catch it right when he's right there, when the body hasn't broken down yet, the immune system hasn't broken down yet, the endocrine system isn't fried, the adrenals aren't fried. You're getting to right when your body can recover and is forced to maintain. You must do the live wrestling drills. You must do the Shark Tank, where they throw in a new fresh opponent every round for 5 rounds. So you're dealing with rested killers and you're exhausted. You have to do that. And that's pure discipline. And generally enforced discipline by coaches, because it's so rigid. It's you're no longer in the inspiration realm. You're in the obsession realm. You are, I'm sure, as well. But you're also, there's no fucking way you want to do it. There's no way you want to do more sprints. You must do the calisthenics. Even the most disciplined, their body recognizes they need a break. Right? So that's pure discipline. What I had was this obsession that made that hard work easy.
Right, so that's a key thing. Okay, so now imagine that underneath the reason. So the positive emotion that motivates people is always experienced in relationship to a goal. Now this is a very important thing for everyone to understand, because it means that if you don't have a goal, you have no positive emotion. And it also means that the higher your goal, the more positive. So you started up to do that.
Social life.
Okay,
Yeah.
what else?
That's basically it. I was a kid.
Okay, social life.
I didn't really have responsibilities like in school, so I would leave from school and go work for someone.
Okay, so there's a development. Right, follow the call of adventure. Aim upward. Continually remind yourself of your fundamental goal. offers their children to be broken by the world in the pursuit of what's high. Yeah.
He was 23 when he made that.
What were you doing when you were 23?
Don't shake.
Highest, in its highest aspect, is the offering of the child to the world to be broken. That's what's portrayed in the Abrahamic story too, the Christ's neighbor. The pattern is multi-generational. And if you want to establish the pattern of fatherhood that's going to cascade down the generations, that will make your descendants successful in the multi-generational manner, then you follow the spirit on its shoulders voluntarily. And that's what brings everything into being. Stunning. And this is what Jung was referring to when he said that religion helps protect people against religious experience. The full revelation of the significance, let's say, of the invocation of Christ, which is supposed to be the foundation of Christian belief, is in fact the demand that you walk the same path with me. There's nothing but a metaphysical limit to that. And I think that's right. I can't see how it cannot be right.
It makes sense, and it resonates with how we know people that have overcome great things in their life and become these very unusual, unique people. I gotta pause because I have to use the restroom, but let's jump right back.
Okay. Mythology surrounding the crucifixion story insists that Christ harrowed hell after the crucifixion, which meant that he confronted not only death but malevolence itself, and in consequence transcended both. And so what's the underlying psychological message? It's something like, we want to bring you the highest quality education possible at the lowest possible price.
It's extremely high level content that anybody can use to educate themselves, and it's available to everybody.
Well, that would be good. I think it's funny. So I got counseled at the university so I could try to return the favor.
I think they're doing that to themselves, right?
Yeah, well, we could.